Did you know that you're not made up of DNA? You're made up of numbers and equations. Hello fellow introverts and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how math made you who you are today. So, allegedly, mathematicians delight in the beauty of math that so many of us don't see. I don't see it. But nature is a wonderful realm in which to observe beauty born out of the mathematical relationships. Okay, the natural world provides seemingly endless patterns underpinned by numbers. If we can recognize them, is this like the 23 thing with Jim Carrey? Luckily for us, a motley team of researchers has just uncovered another striking connection between math and nature, between one of the purest forms of mathematics, number theory, and the mechanisms governing the evolution of life on a molecular scale. Abstract as it may be, number theory might also be one of the more familiar forms of math to many of us. It encompasses the multiplication, subtraction, division, and addition, basic math, of integers or whole numbers and their negative counterparts. The famed Fibonacci sequence is but one example, where each number in the sequence is the sum of the previous two. Its patterns can be found all throughout nature, in pine cones, pineapples, sunflower seeds, weird people, flat earth, underground, battle rap music. The beauty of number theory lies not only in the abstract relationship it uncovers between integers, but also in the deep mathematical structures it illuminates in our natural world, explains Oxford University mathematician Ard Lewis, senior author of the new study. Of interest to Lewis and his colleagues were mutations, the genetic errors into an organism's genome over time and drives evolution. Some mutations can be a single letter change in the genetic sequence that causes disease or produce some unexpected advantage, whereas other mutations can have no observable effect on an organism's appearance, traits, or behaviors. The latter are sometimes referred to as neutral mutations, and although they have no observable effect, they are indicators of evolution at work. Mutations accumulate at the steady rate over time, charting the genetic relationship between organisms as they slowly diverge from a common ancestor. Organisms need to be able to tolerate some mutations, though, to preserve their characteristics, whilst the genetic lottery continues to deal out substitutes that may or may not be advantageous, like me being 5'3". This so-called mutational robustness generates genetic diversity, yet it varies between species, and can even be observed in the proteins inside cells. Study proteins can tolerate around 2/3 of random errors in their coding sequences, meaning 66% of mutations are neutral and have no effect on their final shape. We have known for some time that many biological systems exhibit remarkably high phenotype robustness, without which evolution would not be possible, explains Lewis. But we didn't know what the absolute maximal robustness possible would be, or if there was even a maximum. To investigate, Lewis and his colleagues looked at protein folding and small RNA structures as examples on how a unique genetic sequence, otherwise known as a genotype, maps to a specific phenotype or trait. In the case of proteins, a short DNA sequence spells out the protein's building blocks, which, when pieced together, encodes its shape. Smaller than proteins are RNA secondary structures, free-floating strands of genetic codes that help build the proteins. Lewis and his colleagues wondered how close nature could get to the upper bounds of mutational robustness, so ran a numerical simulation to compute the possibilities. Basically, they asked ChatGPT. They studied the abstract mathematical features on how many genetic variations map to a specific phenotype without changing it, and showed mutational robustness could indeed be maximized in naturally occurring proteins and RNA structures. What's more, the maximum robustness followed a self-replicating fractal pattern called a Blackmange curve and was proportional to the basic concept of number theory called the sum of digits fraction. Now, they claim in this next statement that they have it all figured out. We found clear evidence in the mapping of sequences to RNA secondary structures, and the nature in some cases achieved the exact maximum robustness bound. It's as if biology knows about the fractal sums of digits function. I'm sure biology knows all about some sort of mathematical equation that you made up. Once again, math appears to be an essential component of nature that gives structure to the physical world even on microscopic levels. Look guys, I'm competent at math. I know some people are really good at it, but I know most of people, 5/4 if you will, are not very good at it, don't like it, don't care for it. So what do you guys think? Are you good at math? Let me know. And with that weird, obscure factoid, I will talk to you nerds later.